12:6 says, "Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings, and not one of them is forgotten before God?" Matthew says, "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father?" So, because they're different numbers, I don't want to just ignore one of them. I can put both. And I think this would actually make sense because it kind of matches how the more you buy, the less you pay per item, right? Because if you're buying 2, 1 farthing for 2 sparrows. So if you buy 4, that would be 2 farthings. But no, I guess these dealers are trying to make a deal for you. You can get 1 for free if you buy 4. So now it's actually 5 for 2 farthings. So I'll start with Matthew. 2 for 1. 5 for 2. Luke, and goes right into, "And not one of them is forgotten before God." But I would need to put both of the second statements. "And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father." So I think I want to put what Luke says first. "And not one of them is forgotten." Before God. Then from Matthew. Actually, I think if I do it just differently, if I leave out before God and then put "and fall" from Matthew. Not forgotten, "and shall fall." I'll have the "not" be at the beginning from both. Not one of them is in both. Yeah, one of them. So I'll actually have those combined as well. Is forgotten and shall fall on the ground without. Now I can put God your Father. Not just your Father, not just God. Now, Luke does say forgotten before God. I don't know where I could put that. Also with "and shall fall on the ground without." Maybe I could have "without God your Father" instead of "before God your Father." It is not forgotten. That's a good statement. "And shall fall on the ground without your Father." I'm going with "without your Father" because the whole statement is added from Matthew. "And shall fall on the ground." Otherwise, I'd have to go with "before," but "before" doesn't work with both. I could put this "and" from Luke right here before "are." So all this is one question. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? All that is one question. Then go into one statement. Not one of them is forgotten and shall fall on the ground without God your Father. I could do that. Because in Matthew it's question and then statement. In Luke, it's just all connected, one question. Which would be better? Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing? Question. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? And now one of them is forgotten and shall fall on the ground without God your Father? All one statement. Question. I think that would actually be better, because it would seem less redundant. I know it is kind of redundant talking about 2 sparrows versus 5 sparrows, but if I have the "and" right in between them, it would make it seem like Jesus is actually saying both of those and making that comparison and then answering his own question. No, one of them is forgotten and shall fall on the ground without your Father. Then the very hairs of your head are numbered. Fear not, you are more valuable than sparrows. Yeah, I'm going to have the second part be a statement. So I'll have this "and" from Luke be moved to before "are." Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? Actually, I can have "are not" moved to the beginning. That way it's even less repetitive. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? That's even better. Yeah. Then the statement, not one of them is forgotten and shall fall on the ground without God your Father. I think that's just great, if you ask me. The next verse is very close, almost word for word. Matthew reads, "But the very hairs of your head are all numbered." Luke, "But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered." So they're both pretty much the same, except for "even" added in Luke. Next, "Fear not, therefore." Fear you not, therefore. I would have left out "you," but it's there in Matthew, so I guess I'll just leave it. Matthew, "You are of more value than many sparrows." Luke has, "You are of more value than many sparrows." Both of them are the same. "You are of more value than many sparrows."